Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for today's Streamline Your Human Capital Management with Direct Sage Intacct integration. My name is Lauren Hogan. I'm a Regional Marketing Coordinator at JMT, and we're very excited to have Ashley Ruggieri and Michael Sedano from ADP joining us today. Just a couple of housekeeping notes before I turn it over to Ashley and Michael. If you have any questions during the webinar today, please go ahead and submit them into the Q&A section as you think of them. We'll save them all until the end of the presentation, but don't hesitate to submit them as they come. Also, just a reminder that we will send you both some handouts and the recording of today's webinar within 24 hours after it has concluded. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Ashley, to get us started.
Well, thank you, Lauren, so much. We are so excited to be a part of the JMT family. I am your co-host, Ashley Ruggieri from ADP. And just, again, to make sure we're all in the right webinar, we are going to be talking about ADP nonprofits and our Sage Intacct connector today. So just a quick agenda. This will probably go about 35 minutes. As Lauren mentioned, questions at the end, and it will be recorded. But we're going to first kick it off with who is ADP, for any of you that have not worked with us or are not familiar with ADP. Then the benefits of working with ADP, the ADP JMT partnership and the benefits to you as a client of JMT. And then finally, we will wrap it up with our Workforce Now demonstration and some Q&A. ADP is a large organization. We have been in business for over 70 years with over 700,000 clients. We pay 1 in 6 employees and are global. So to say that we are the largest in the payroll and HR industry is accurate. Today, we are going to be talking about the Workforce Now technology. This is our cloud-based technology that can help with everything from hire to term. We are going to focus on our HR and compliance, payroll and tax, benefits and ACA, time and attendance, and our Sage Intacct ERP connector. We also are mobile capable, as I mentioned, global, and really any size is a good fit, whether that's 1 employee or thousands of employees. The big question is, why work with ADP? Some of the reasons why JMT decided to partner with ADP, and it really boils down to 3 things: our depth and breadth of services, our expertise, and our ability to partner. ADP has more solutions under one umbrella than any other provider, whether that's our standalone services like insurance and tax, our HCM technology, which is what we're going to be talking about today, called Workforce Now, our BPO managed services, which is our technology plus people support, and finally our PEO, which is our technology plus people support plus benefits. ADP also really knows the nonprofit industry. We understand that some of the major concerns are maintaining high ethical standards, monitoring operating costs, and streamlining employee engagement and communications. There's a slew of ways that we can help out, but specifically through grant tracking, providing HR compliance and guidance, as well as employee self-service and mobile capability are some of those features. Finally, there are huge benefits to working with JMT and the ADP JMT partnership. The first is our data conversion. If you decided to move forward with ADP, we would bring over up to 7 years of historical data. We also offer system customization, whether that be through portal rollouts or policies and procedures. We not only train the super user, but also management and employees. And finally, we offer our world-class support through a dedicated implementation specialist for kickoff, and of course, a lifelong account manager for any servicing and question issues. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Michael Sedano, at this point, who is going to show you the Workforce Now demonstration.
All right, thank you, Ashley. And hi, everyone. My name is Michael Sedano, and I'll be running the technology demonstration showing you both Workforce Now platform and our Sage Intacct connector. So what we're looking at right now is the Workforce Now platform, and this is where we would house anything from hire to retire for your entire employee set. Some of our clients will also use this space as an employee intranet, somewhere where we can house employee of the month information, time and attendance information for employees. I can see my pay statements, so just a hub for everything employee related. It's important to note that we can also make sure that employees are only seeing information that we want them to see. So the first 3 tabs here are generally reserved for the employee level. I can go into the Myself tab and see my pay statement. I can clock in and out. I can view my time card, etc. If I have direct reports, I'll also have the additional My Team tab where I can go in, manage my team, and make sure that everything is flowing correctly there. And then, of course, at our practitioner or administrative level, we have the remaining of the tabs. So people, where I can see the entire organization process, the ability to process payroll, run reports, and set up the look and feel of the system for different users. All of this is also available on mobile, like Ashley mentioned earlier, so we can roll out policies for employees to go in and acknowledge directly on their mobile device. We can have them view pay statements, tax information, again, clocking in and out, schedule, benefits, retirement, etc. So how do we get people into the system? On the Workforce Now platform, we go into our HR hire, retire, hire, rehire, and we enter in that new hire information. We'll show later that when we enter in this information, it's automatically able to flow over to that Sage Intacct platform. When we go in to hire the new employee, you'll see that we're able to assign an onboarding experience here. And this is something that we can send out to that new hire. We can also at this step assign internal checklists. So maybe we need the employee to be set up with a laptop or a cell phone. We can send different checklists to our internal folks on IT, managers, or certain department heads, just to make sure that when the employee comes in, they're ready to hit the ground running. The onboarding experience can also be tailored to the employee, and we can house multiple different variations of the onboarding experience depending on your organization. The employee's experience with this is they'll be sent an email automatically through the system to register for Workforce Now. So we're also getting that user buy-in even before the employee walks through the door. We can send this out a week or 2 before the employee begins. The first thing that the new hire will see is a welcome message, either from their manager or from someone that we've designated, maybe a president or company owner. I'm going to switch now to the PC version to illustrate the rest of this, but just keep in mind that it is available in mobile. The first couple steps here, the welcome video, the team tab, and the profile piece, are all just acclimating that new hire with the organization, our mission and vision, and building that culture as well. So we can put a video here welcoming that employee, maybe interview different folks throughout the organization, just making them feel like part of something before they come in. I think our HR payroll favorite is the paperwork piece here, where we're taking care of forms that are traditionally done on a physical sheet of paper, like the Form I-9, our W-4s for federal and state, policy acknowledgements, emergency contacts, and additional information. So this is where we would have that employee go through the system and enter in information, and then automatically flowing back to the Workforce Now platform. Also, within ADP, we are housing the second piece of this as well. So, traditionally, when we talk about the Form I-9, we're hearing employer feedback that I can't read the employee's handwriting or the date's in the wrong format. All of that's being taken care of when we put this form into a wizard. So we're leading that employee through the form in bite-sized pieces. And then once they are completed, ADP will allow you to go through the system and complete Section 2 or Section 3 if they're a rehire. So just making sure that you're staying compliant. In addition to that, the other pieces I mentioned, we can also have employees input documents, e-sign, and then also upload any kind of documentation. Perhaps we're looking for a specific certification or a licensure that they may have. They can feel free to upload those documents here in the onboarding experience as well. One of the last things that I'll mention with onboarding is the neighborhood piece. This is just allowing the employee to see where they're working. This is derived by the reports to location. I can find restaurants in the area, where I'm getting my cup of coffee on that first day, and even plan my commute. And this is powered by Google. So if I'm taking my own vehicle or public transportation, walking, biking, I can see how I'm getting into the office and roughly how long it'll take. Within the Workforce Now platform, all of the information is then flowing in, so we can see the information as it's being filled out by the employee. Going into Luke here, we have all of his information, tax identification, emergency contact, address, and even custom fields. And these are unlimited. So if we wanted to ask for t-shirt size or your favorite coffee order, your pet's name, different anniversary or different dates that the employee wants to celebrate with the company, we can input that information and also run reporting on it. Speaking of ADP reporting, we have the field grabber tool here, which once you're acclimated with the system, you can load up the fields on the page and simply pull them into a report by clicking on them. And this goes across different menus as well. So I can pull in that name, t-shirt size, create the report, and hand it off to a vendor. We can also go into different pieces, like for instance, the talent profile, where I can see license and certification information and just pull in those different pieces as well. So we can pull in that position ID information, training, education levels, membership, etc. Once we've added enough fields, ADP will also let you know if there's been any similar reports ran within the system, and it'll suggest those. If not, you would continue to go on that path of creating that custom report. One of the other things within HR is the statutory compliance page. So all of this information the employee is filling out is filtering over into this compliance page. We have EEO information, FMLA, OSHA cases, and ADP's standardized reporting allows us to pull reports on most of this. So if someone gets hurt on the job, we can go into ADP standard reporting and pull an OSHA 300 form. Or for that talent profile, if we are wondering when an employee is coming up for recertification on a licensure, we can pull a license and certification report. So all of that's available as a standard report, but again, you can also pull that custom. Within HR, we also have the ability to house employee documents. So those same certifications and licensures that we're discussing, you can have the employee house them directly within the system. We can also assign different categories and make sure that, again, users that don't need access to specific documents don't have that access. Now, when we're talking about employee self-service, the ability to go in, view pay statements, along with that goes benefit enrollment. And employees can enroll in benefits directly through the Workforce Now platform. It gives them information that they need to complete the enrollment. We also allow broker access here as well. So if you're working with a specific broker, They can input the information for you, or ADP can input this information during implementation. Whatever kind of benefits you're offering, the employee can enroll in. So anything from health and medical down to pet insurance. We're having the employee see the different options that they're eligible for. If I have state-specific plans that don't apply to me, I will simply not see them. Each employee is set up with their own benefit group, and they can't elect benefits that they're not eligible for. We show the employee the cost breakdown per pay period, per month, or per year. We can also have the employee compare plans side by side. So seeing that PPO versus that HMO plan, it's showing me the full plan detail, the overview, and then even different services. So if I'm a person that likes to visit the chiropractor on a frequent basis, I can see how much that specialty visit is going to cost me. ADP also manages dependents and beneficiaries. We can also set up carrier connections. So once an election is made, that information can be sent directly to that carrier. From an administrative level, you'll have access to a benefits dashboard. And this is showing open enrollment information and allowing us to take action on different items. So we have 85 days remaining in our open enrollment period. I have 414 employees that have not started. So we can send the employees a nudge. I can go through, look at the in process, see the ones that have been completed. I can also do the same thing with new hire enrollments. And because ADP is your system of record for benefits, if we're utilizing ADP for benefits, all of this information is your ironclad. So if I pull my invoice reporting and compare it to the bill I'm seeing from my carrier, everything should add up because we're taking that election, and that election is automatically flowing over to payroll for that deduction piece. ADP also captures waive information so that we're able to then help populate those ACA forms for you. So your measurement periods are put into the system. And then ADP will also notify you of anyone that's gone from part-time to full-time and they need to be offered benefits. So again, just automation of compliance. As far as payroll and time and attendance is concerned, ADP offers a wide variety of choice here. So we have web timesheets, mobile, telephone clocking where I dial a physical number, kiosk clocking with facial recognition, and also hardwired clocks that we can install throughout the building. No matter how the employee is clocking, it's all going into the same Workforce Now platform, instantaneous. So when your managers look at their day and they want to see where employees are, who's coming in today, they'll have one spot in order to do so. So the team dashboard is where your manager would go to see any kind of missed punches or shifts to review. Maybe we've created a rule where I want to see if an employee has clocked 30 minutes outside of their scheduled shift, and I want to be able to approve that. I can go through and approve or dismiss that notification. And any changes and rounding rules and pay information that you're hosting within time and attendance will automatically flow over. So as a manager, if an employee missed a punch, I'm just simply entering the time that they left. I'm not having to worry about any of the calculation. Let's see. For our clients that experience things like overtime, ADP also allows you to take a look at some of the trends that you're spotting. So we can see overtime by manager, and I have Laura's team here using almost no overtime at all. I have Anthony's team using a ton. Maybe it's justified, but if it's not, it's something that we can look into. I can have Laura mentor Anthony on how to pull that number down, and also as an organization, we're aware of that. Once it's time to process payroll, the practitioner can go into the ADP payroll dashboard. And this is a place where we have a lot of different checks and balances. We want to make sure that everything is set and ready before we actually process payroll. So at the top, we have employee updates. I can see if I have any new hires, terminations, or even employee changes, like a change of address, would all show in these reports. We also have our payroll information. If we're using ADP for time and attendance, we would simply pull that time batch directly into payroll, and it would show our total hours, all of our different rates and values. We can also assign different costing to those employees as well. If we want to allocate their labor around different cost centers, we can enter that information in, or it can pull in from time and attendance. If we're not using ADP for time and attendance, we can go into the pay data batch and freeform information. We also have import templates that allow us to pull data from other time providers, and our marketplace allows us to direct connect via API with a lot of different time providers like T-Sheets and several others. One additional note too is that you probably saw in several menus we have the chat with ADP functionality. If you have any questions about how to process payroll, the chat with ADP button at the top will load up a chat box that you can directly speak to someone about how to add an earnings code or a deduction code, or how to change the look and feel of the payroll dashboard. Some of the other checks and balances we can go through is comparing our payrolls side by side. So if I wanted to see our first payroll run versus the current, I have the ability to compare that historic data and make sure that there's no huge outliers. So I have my current payroll. I can drill down into the hours, the earnings, taxes, and deductions. I also have all of my payroll reports directly within the system. Typically, when we're processing payroll in-house, there's a lot of different things associated with that. We have to do our own tax filing, our new hire reporting. When we partner with ADP, we're taking everything in gray off of your plate. So we're doing those tax filings, we're doing the W-4s, your direct deposits, your check signing and delivery as well. Once payroll is processed, you'll log into a general ledger interface. And this is going to be the start of the integration into Sage. So we can go in to create that general ledger file. I choose the payroll that I would like to include and move over to Sage. And when I create the file, it's going to allow me then to transmit it over to the Sage Intacct platform. And once I do that, the information, it will prompt us to transmit. And once transmitted, it'll say that the entry has been made and pushed successfully to the Sage Intacct platform. You can also go into the Sage Intacct platform at that time and confirm that the information has been updated. So we would click on our journal entries here. We can go in to view that transaction. And when I view, I can see all of my debits and credits, my employer paid Medicare, Social Security, unemployment income tax. So all of our earnings, deduction codes, and memos codes can be mapped accordingly. ADP also has several different integrations with Sage Intacct. We mentioned before the ability to send that employee data. So pushing employee data once we're entering it into the Workforce Now platform, pushing that over to the Sage Intacct ERP. We also do expense reimbursement, time in and out of Sage, and then also our dimensions, so the different fields that we have employees clocking to. And that concludes the demonstration. If you would like to see something more refined, you can reach out and we can get a scheduled demo to go through all of the additional modules. We just wanted to give you a flavor of what the Workforce Now platform looks like, but we do then have performance and compensation, recruiting, and additional modules as well.
Thank you, Ashley and Michael, for that great presentation. Looks like we do have some questions coming in. Just a reminder that you can submit any questions into the Q&A section and we'll read them out. So I'll go ahead and start with the first one we have here. Does ADP have the capability for the employee to request corrections to their time card, missed punches?
Yes, we do. We also can have that turned off. So if we wanted to leave that as a function of the manager, that's also an option.
Okay. And then our next question we have, we are presently an ADP and Intacct client. The chart of account in ADP is insufficient to capture the Intacct GL dimensions of account, program, location, contract, restricted. Has the ADP chart of account been expanded to interface to Intacct? What version of ADP?
So Workforce Now, if Workforce Now is the platform that you're using, the Sage Intacct connector has been revamped, and we've also added those time dimensions. I would say that we should reach out to the district manager or the service representative on that to see if it's something that we can accommodate, and maybe take a look at that specific chart of accounts.
And just to add to that, Veronica, who I believe asked that, you can connect, I believe you can reach out to the email address provided on the slide right now to connect with JMT, and myself and JMT will hop on the phone with you and we can go over what version you have to see if we need to upgrade it to the newer ERP, the Sage Intacct ERP connector.
And then Veronica also just sent in another question. Who is using the Intacct interface from Workforce Now at this time? I'm not sure I understand the question. Our customers are using it. It's newer. I don't know if this provides any of the answers you were looking for, but I would say it's about a year old. So if you're a Workforce Now customer, it is available through a sales process with myself and the JMT team. I don't know if Veronica, that answered your question. Oh, sorry, Karen, not Veronica. Well, we could maybe just connect after then, and we can go ahead and answer the other questions we have in the queue. Looks like we are already ADP Workforce customers. Is onboarding now included with this integration, or will it still cost extra?
I can take that one. So Sheena, I believe, onboarding is also a newer feature, probably about 2 years old. It is an additional fee. So it's not associated with the integration. We can connect again as a one-off and review how much that would be and show you the demonstration again if necessary.
Yeah. So here we have another question from Melissa. Currently in Intacct and ADP, will the ADP interface when we use employee groups for our GL coding dimensions integrate? She is using the GL interface, but it does not transmit. She downloaded the GL report and created an upload currently.
So with the Sage Intacct connector, you would just need to hit transmit and it moves that information over. The employee groups are part of that general ledger interface, and those can be updated on the Sage Intacct side. We would just need to work with the current service team in order to set that up correctly if it's not already.
And I think, Melissa, also we want to make sure that you have specifically the Sage Intacct ERP connector, which is different from our GL info link. I know a lot of different options here, but the Intacct connector is basically on steroids. So I think it would be best to connect on a one-off.
Okay, we have another question here. So once you transmit in ADP, the GL accounts will be hit. They will post, or will they post?
Yes, they will. And the process takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So the full integration once we hit transmit, and that's why you receive an email confirming that it has posted.
Okay. Then we have another question here. How can ADP help in the virtual environment we are living in right now?
I can take that.
Go ahead.
I would say, obviously, this is a reality now. So our onboarding feature that you saw in the beginning with Michael, that has been very helpful for the virtual environment, as well as utilizing some pay options. If clients do not feel comfortable with direct deposit, we have pay cards as well. And then finally, we have something called Document Cloud, which we didn't get into, but is basically an electronic storage component for any client who is looking to get away from, paper files.
Okay, we had another question just come through. If there's an error with the transmission, what happens?
There would be an email sent, and we can do troubleshooting from that point. So it would tell you what the specific error code was, why we're not able to post in that email, and then we would work with the service team to fix that.
Okay, perfect. Then we have another question here. What happens if I have a third-party system that I already want to connect to ADP?
That is a great question. So depending on the system, we would leverage our marketplace, which we have third-party applications already vetted and can connect with Workforce Now through APIs. If they're not on the marketplace, then we can open our architecture for an API, or we can do data dumps like an export file, or even transfer through an FTP.
Okay, and here we have another one from Dustin. If it is as simple as a missing location or employee ID or something in Intacct, would we be able to fix that ourselves and then resubmit?
The general ledger file is pulling the information from payroll. So you can run a fix yourself. I don't think it would be missing things like that, just because it is pulling from the employment profile and the payroll process. But yes, you can go into the general ledger interface. You can drill down, find out where the error is, and it's something that you can edit on your own using a payroll adjustment.
Okay, then one more question we have. If I'm already a client of ADP's but do not have the ERP connector, how do I get it?
Great question. I would say connect with JMT, and I would be involved as well. And we can go over setting up your chart of accounts to make sure that you have the GL foundation set up in the first place, and then adding on the ERP connector. And just to add to that, I would say we have a handful of clients on it. I know that was another question, but I would say the majority of our clients are not on it, only because it's so new. So I don't mind checking, again, working with JMT, getting your company code and checking to see if you have it or you don't.
Perfect, then. Looks like we don't have any more questions coming through, but if you have a question pop up, feel free to email us, as Ashley said, and we would be happy to answer any further ones. So thank you everyone for attending today and learning more about why we've chosen to partner with ADP. If you're ready to get started on this powerful workforce solution, or if you're already an existing ADP customer and are looking to make a better use of your investment, please feel free to reach out to your client account manager by emailing cam@jmtconsulting.com. We look forward to showing you how this system can work with your ERP to streamline systems and process for your nonprofit. And that email was also put on that slide previously. And then also, we're also trying to, or we love helping nonprofits achieve their missions. So if you know of a nonprofit who could benefit from our services or solutions, please send them our way through a referral. As a thank you for helping us connect with them, we'll send you a $25 Amazon gift card. And if they become a client, we'll send you $500 either for yourself or as a donation to your nonprofit. Just visit jmtconsulting.com/referral to learn more or submit your referral. So just want to say thank you again to Ashley and Michael for joining us today. And thank you everyone for being here. We hope you enjoyed the presentation and hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.